Stop chewing so loud, bro.
What's up, everyone? This is your boy Julian from Clout Finder, and I'm here with my guy Max, aka Crush from Banana Clip. How are you doing today, Crush?
I'm good, Julian. Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm glad you took the time to come on here. I'm very excited for what you guys are doing and building over at Banana Clips. Is it Banana Clips Gaming or Banana Clips Studios? I've seen both before, but I want to start getting it right.
Right. Well, we were studios, but I think we're gonna reduce it just for streamlines reasons. But either works. Banana Clip is easier to say. So
Okay, so I know you guys are doing great work. You are a Web3 gaming platform that you're developing. I don't want to I can put it in my own words, but I want you to kind of like explain yourself so you can like feel like you're well represented. If you had to just define Banana Clip real quick, how would you explain that to someone?
definitely. Um, I would say, in short, Banana Clip is a website that's desktop only for the start. That is for iconic web games. Anything from chess to Agario to Deep.io. I was just playing this morning for an hour. Super addicting. Unfortunately, I was there for an hour, but any sort of mini clip style crazy games, iconic on web games. And there happens to be a token called Bana that can be used in all of the games, whether you want to upgrade something, skip an ad, trade a resource, whatever it may be. So that's where the Web3 functionality comes in.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. So it's kind of like, casual gaming rather than a focus on like AAA games and things of that nature. Um, why kind of go in that direction overall instead of focusing on like the Call of Duties or, the super high end names that everyone kind of knows from that genre?
Yeah, good question. I think a big part of why we're doing casual games is because of the simplicity and the ability for Web 2 people to access the awesome economic capabilities that Web 3 provides, and that's kind of what we're all about. And if we were to do a AAA game, not only would it have a much higher development cost, especially competing with current leaders in AAA titles, but it would also obscure the magic that's provided by Web 3, with the economic decentralized capabilities that are available there. So we wanted to make that magic, where people can interact by trading resources, purchasing items, holding assets, and managing those assets, in a very accessible, easily understandable way. And um, it turns out casual gaming is actually by far the biggest gaming sector globally. And I think it harkens
Really?
back. Yeah. I wish I could tell you the source for that, but it's a quick Google search. We have it in our white paper, um, and it's somewhere around 2 billion players on casual games globally, and that's anything from Candy Crush on mobile to something like Agario that I mentioned, or chess. So I think the reason for that is the same reason we wanted to incorporate crypto into these games, and that's simplicity, like mechanical simplicity. So it's easy to keep track of your assets and know what points do and what in-game cash does. And yeah, I think that simplicity, accessibility is the reason we went for casual games, um, for our project.
That's bro. The fact that there are 2 billion people, that's almost like everyone who has access to the internet in the world.
Dude, yeah. I mean, I think most people have played some sort of online chess or Candy Crush or something at some point, like everybody. You don't need a crazy computer. You
Mhm.
don't need an Xbox. You can be from really anywhere if you have like a phone of any type, and you can get on and straight get right enthralled in some like simple game that mechanically makes you like, it's thrilling. So I think that's magic, and it's accessible, and everybody can play it. Kids to adults, no matter who you are. So yeah.
100%. I'm actually personally really into chess. So like I'm a big fan of like chess.com. Even in the real world when I play, like a lot of times, like I used to go to this coffee shop and this influencer guy would come around. Shout out to Brian from Coffee Chess and just record our games because we used to talk so much trash when we play and just post it online. And I think like it's so crazy to see. And just seeing how like passionate like the chess community is when it comes to like online chess. Like the first thing when I meet people at chess events is, oh, what's your chess.com rating? Or how often do you play on chess.com or lead chess or things of that nature? It just really makes sense that this this niche in gaming has pretty much taken over the world with all the different types of games and the simplicity of access that you speak of. Um, like when you first got involved in gaming, like how old were you when you first started, getting into like the gaming world? Where were some of your like first favorite games that you played? Doesn't have to be like casual games, but just overall, like how did you kind of get started as a gamer?
Yeah, for sure. I think I've been into music always, so like Guitar Hero was probably one of my first. Like,
Classic.
I have to play this right now, every day.
Yeah.
Um, and like my friend had a DS, and like I had the little handle on there.
Yeah.
That was one of my first, like, I'm addicted to this game right now.
Hmm.
um, and then I like racing games a lot, like Gran Turismo, and I also like casual games were a big part of my introduction to gaming. I think like Plants vs Zombies was like huge for me, and then Agario was a huge one. That's why we're building it, a lot of it, because like they're games from our childhood that we want to see, on this new economy. Um, but Mini Clip, like there's all these games. A Mini Clip Commando. There's countless that I could mention, but uh, those were my big ones getting into gaming. So yeah, how about you? Where did you start?
I feel like the first gaming that I really remember, or game I really remember was like the original, not the original Game Boy, but like the one after the super big one. And I was like 7, and it was Pokemon, like
Oh,
Pokemon Red, Pokemon Blue, um, RPG game, of course. And that kind of got me started. Where it's like getting into games. I love playing like Kingdom Hearts, uh, you know, N64, Zelda, Mario Kart, Super Smash Bros. And then eventually, like as games got better, you got more into like the 2Ks, the Maddens. Um, took so much of my childhood away from me, but I loved it.
yeah, I know. There's something crazy about. I don't want to see my hours of gameplay. That's for sure. If I could know
Hmm.
that fact, I would not want to know it. But yeah,
Yeah, if you really took like the hours, I think the average gamer invested in gaming, and like you could have like a PhD in something, or build a super crazy. But it's like it's
yeah,
gaming is so addictive, but in the best possible way, in my opinion.
yeah, yeah. I think it's not necessary because it's competition, and it's a
True.
community thing. Like you're playing with other people against other people. Like that's kind of cool. Like you build friendships and stuff. And that's actually a big reason we're doing what we're doing. Like the community thing with games is so strong. But the fact is, with these casual games, you can connect, you can play people, right? Like you can, player versus player, player versus all. There's a lot of online
100%.
games, turn by turn, or something like Agario. That's a map that it's live. Um,
Hmm.
but so the community's there, and it's 2 billion people, like I said, worldwide. But the economically, people are disconnected, so there's no way to actually, you know, trade value with people. and win value or put value on the line. So with Banana Clip, that's a huge aspect in incorporating value into the community, and being able to trade it instead of just playing each other. So
Absolutely. And I think there's two things you kind of touched on that are worth noting in what you just said. One is the community aspect of things. I haven't had the opportunity to be a gamer as much recently as you grow up and life happens. But a lot of my friends who still are very active in gaming, and it's actually this is something that's slowly pulling me back to that world, is this is how they hang out. You'll have someone who is a gamer, you'll have a friend on the other side of the country who maybe you went to school with, you just don't get to see. You never see them, but you get to log in, play a game, and now you just spent 2 hours with your buddy that you wouldn't get. And now you do that for a couple of years, you're still maintaining a relationship with your friends that you may not even have the time to do if you just weren't gaming. Another aspect of community that I'm seeing kind of pop up is gaming, especially as online gaming has gotten a lot popular, is becoming like the new golf for networking. So I have business contacts who form business partnerships with people because they met them in gaming lobbies or they met them doing gaming. They're like, oh, I got a digital marketing company. Oh, I run software or build data software for marketing services. And then they're like, okay, now a business partnership comes out. And, lo and behold, they're making money together. And so I think the community aspect of gaming is so interesting. And then the economics of Web3 as it relates to gaming, I think is about to completely change the game. So we have 2 billion people in casual gaming out there who are gaming for free. What does, like, for those people who start coming into like the Banana Clip ecosystem, what are some new like economic opportunities for casual gamers that just didn't exist in like web during the Web 2 era?
yeah, great question. And I think the community stuff is huge too. And there's in so many ways, like even if it's just your friends around your computer playing like some casual game or like playing chess, and like it can get that can be hype. It can be like three of your friends around a computer and you're like screaming like you're playing some like simple game. So yeah, it's so great. But yeah, for in terms of Banana Clip, a Web 2 user, how they're approaching this Web 3 platform, which we kind of are like. It's not a fully Web 3 platform. It's for Web 2 people too. So it's not we're not trying to just section ourselves off into crypto, because I think in reality the numbers for DeFi participants, like active wallets in DeFi, are around 5 million, if I'm not mistaken, which
Okay.
pales in comparison to casual gaming. So I think Web 2 is actually, it's not like Web 3 gamers. It's gamers that want to use a new economy. So we're kind of taking that ethos into how it's going to be approached by Web 2 people. So first of all, some
Smart.
kind of I would say first, I'm sure there's a ton of projects out there, but something we want to do is you don't have to sign in, you don't have to use a wallet when you hop on the website. You can start playing games for free again, just like Crazy Games, Pokey. It will feel just like a Web 2 platform. You only have to sign up with your email or connect to your wallet if you want to partake in the economy. And the economy is going to be pretty simple. So it's our goal is to have it be completely understandable by somebody who's familiar with games. So we kind of like to compare Web 3 assets such as NFTs and tokens to assets in gameplay that players are already familiar with. So it might be a badge and they know there's only a few of these badges and it's special and they have one of them, right? That's an NFT. It's just not on a blockchain. It's on the game ledger. And then, there's in-game currency, in-game cash, gold bars, whatever it may be. That's fungible tokens right there. So gamers are already familiar with, the concepts of fungible and non-fungible assets. They just, they don't call them NFTs and tokens because, that's foreign, right? And that was introduced with the cryptocurrency community. So the actual way that players will use the economy is quite simple. There's three main categories. One of them, and then I can break those down. I guess maybe we can go one by one.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, 100%. For sure. And it's we're trying to, like, a big thing for us is keep it simple because you can get as complex as possible, but that's kind of for AAA stuff, we think. The great joy in casual games is always the simplicity, like when you enter a chess match on chess.com, there's not like crazy, there's not like crazy assets and settings and stuff. It's more like, all right, this is the game. It's not fun because it looks crazy. It's fun because, it's mechanically simple and pleasing.
A great game.
But yeah, so the three major areas, the three major economic capabilities that Web 2 people should be already familiar with is paid competitions. So that's like in chess, you can, ping your friend, and we're going to have a friends list. You can add your friends, message them, ping them to play games. In chess, of course, it's going to be hopefully one of the big ones. We're working on chess right now. Yeah, you'll be able to enter a chess match with your friend for, say, 100 bana, a custom wager, and play your friend, and winner takes that bana. So that alone, that's obviously huge. I'm not familiar with any wagering on online chess wagering. There might be some websites, but I'm not familiar with them. So especially not in crypto. I haven't heard of any in crypto. So we're really excited about that.
Definitely happens on the street. So
for sure. Exactly. Right. It happens. People, and that's a perfect example. People know what that is. Like, they don't have to know cryptocurrency. They don't have to know what a decentralized exchange is, or an FT or an NFT. They know that they can hop right on and be like, oh, this is great. And I can play with my friend across the world, or who's, across the street, or we're just on our computer or whatever. So I think that's magic in terms of onboarding Web 2 people with economic principles that they're already familiar with. So they don't have to be, scared of crypto and think it's this crazy complex thing. Like, it's just an economy, and like you can do whatever you want with it. And this is a fundamental thing that, you can do. So yeah. I don't want to rumble on too much about the other functionalities and stuff, but if you have any
all right, so before we go on to aspect number 2, so with the competitive landscape of wagers and things of that nature, obviously people are going to be able to individually wager with one another. Do you see a time where, like, say let's just keep going with chess because that's a simple game that everyone knows. Say I have 20 chess buddies, across the world, and I want to organize a tournament. Because obviously tournaments happen all the time. Could I create a tournament setup where it's like I go to my buddies and I'm like, cool, I need you to insert like 500 bana as like an entry fee, and then organize like the distribution of like, this is what the first place gets, this is what second place gets, this is what third place gets, and create that type of competitive setup as well?
That's actually a great question. We haven't built that. We have a leaderboard, but like custom like leaderboards within a group and tournaments. That's a fantastic idea, actually. But I think that's definitely something that we want to have as much customization for like tournaments with your friends, and while keeping it simple. But yeah, stuff like that is certainly on the table. I'll bring it up to the team actually. But that's
Okay,
very
awesome.
yes.
Cool. And so let's dive. What are these two other areas of monetization through your platform, or that you just see through casual gaming overall?
Yeah, definitely. So the second the biggest one I'd say is the ability to like progress in games, buy in-game assets, respawn if you've died in a game,
Mm-hmm.
just with a click of a button and using your banner. So currently, if you visit Pokey or Crazy Games or any of icon like casual gaming websites, you have to watch an ad to progress in the game or to respawn, which is it takes like 30 seconds. It's kind of annoying, and
Mm-hmm.
on Banana Clip, it will just be you pay Bana to respawn. Just very simple as that. But have you ever gone into like a game on Crazy Games or something like that where you are just watching ads to like respawn and get back in? Do you know that feeling?
No, I haven't done it yet, but I can already imagine, just because that model is used across, like, that's the YouTube model. When you want to go to another, YouTube video, and you have to watch an ad, at the beginning, middle, end, and it's like these companies are trying to figure out how to generate profitability for themselves while not necessarily charging their clients. And so I can imagine just like playing a game, you die, and now you gotta watch an ad. That
Yeah,
being annoying. I try to keep ad blockers up at all times on my computer, so I don't know if an ad blocker can kind of get me around that. But yeah, I can imagine that not being what I want to experience when I'm in gamer mode.
yeah, for sure. And I think that's where most of the revenue comes from
Mhm,
for those platforms, for those casual game platforms. It's from ads.
mhm,
Because you're not paying to play, right? So uh, we saw a perfect opportunity there to integrate this economy because otherwise, it's not likely that somebody's going to put in their credit card into like some random casual game just so they can skip an ad in that game.
mhm.
Versus you have some Bana. It's compatible with Cardano right now. We have plans for cross chain in the future, but
Awesome.
yeah. Um, yeah, it's a click of a button. You have it in your wallet. You see it on the platform. Like 5 Bana, skip the ad. 10 Bana, skip the ad. Um, it adds that excitement to, especially if it's a simple game. Like you can progress faster, and sometimes you get sick of a game, and you want to just like get the best upgrade and see what it's like. And that's a common thing with with like basic casual games, right? Because they're very they're short time span the gameplay. So yeah, and I think it's also going to be really cool as a crypto person to see such like a clear utility for a token, such an immediate thing. Like I'm playing this game, it's like super thrilling, and I can just use my crypto to like skip an ad, or I can use my crypto for this that. Um, so yeah, we're excited about that just as much as the paid competitions thing. Um,
And then also being able to actually, within this economy, progress and earn mana while playing games, or be able to get, like you said, we think of them as NFTs, but badges and different, maybe like more advanced games like skins, if it's like more of an advanced game. Get different NFTs, and those have potentially monetary value. I think that's huge, personally, because there's a lot of investment in playing these games, and to be able to get something that's tangible, that you could say like, hey, I played a game for 5 hours, but I earned 100 Bana, or I don't know what the conversion is on the market right now, but a certain amount of Bana. People are now starting to get something for their time rather than just pure enjoyment.
Yeah, definitely. We actually have. we our view on the play to earn thing is a little bit different than a lot of Web3 gaming platforms. We
Interesting.
see,
Okay.
yeah, it's you will be able to earn Bana in gameplay, but
Mm-hmm.
that's not really the main purpose of the token, which is different than a lot of other Web3 gaming platforms. Right? It's all about earning the token for playing the game. Um, but we see the Web3 integration into games, into iconic games in this case, as an economic layer, not designed just to reward people, but to allow people to interact amongst each other, not just
Mm-hmm.
uh, get rewards from the game creator. So the Bana economy is meant for that player to player value flow via transacting resources, which we can get to, um, and paid competitions with each other. So a lot of the reason for that is to decrease sell pressure. So we notice with a lot of
Absolutely.
with a lot of Web3 games, like Axie Infinity is a good example. I think they had a near $20 billion market cap back in 2021, but uh, they their economics were built strongly off of play to earn, and I think that affected their economy in terms of token inflation, because value doesn't just come from nowhere. Even if you're giving people tokens from a treasury,
Absolutely.
it adds to sell pressure. So um, our idea is that the utility is player to player interactions, so it's not actually inflating the currency. And
Mm-hmm.
then for those players to interact with each other, they need Bana. They need the Bana token. So that actually increases sell pressure simultaneously. So it's kind of a new take on the Web3 gaming economy that we haven't really seen yet. This integrated into games and for player to player interactions. So um, that's that's kind of our take on the play to earn thing. It's different, but we're really excited about it. I could talk about like the flow value there for a long time and how it's unique. But I guess it will. I think testnet phase and eventually our launch, which is coming in November. That's the plan right now. We're on track with development. I think
Awesome.
we'll immediately start to see the difference between the normal Web3 economy, like you play and maybe you win if you're on the leaderboard, or you just win tokens for hours of gameplay, or you find them in the game. It's all player to player. And yeah, I think it's really exciting. But
So it's really building based off of more transactional. The token's more like a transactional utility rather than a inflation utility, really. For Because if you look at an economy, if you if you have like Axie Infinity, you're just dumping tokens into people's wallets. The liquidity has to come. It has to come from somewhere. Like you said, nothing is just magically free out of nothing. So you know, it's like pumping. It's like any economy. Like say you just pump 10-20% extra US dollars into our economy, you know, it's going to have an impact on the cost of things, the ability to transact and get things done, and there's always a value exchange somewhere. So if you just give away a token, then that liquidity comes from the community that's already invested into that token up to that point in that little mini market, and that's where the value is coming from. It's being sucked out of your exchange, and that's that sell pressure you're talking about. So I mean, it sounds like you've been around crypto for a while. I think when we were talking offline for a little bit, you said like 5 years so far.
that I first got into like buying crypto and like lightly looking into it 5 years ago, and then it
Hmm.
was it was a slippery slope from there. But
It always is.
now I'm creating now, which is like a really fun place to be, and
Mhm.
it's so young. You just see so many possibilities, so many visions, of what can be.
Absolutely.
So I'm lucky to have found myself here, now. So
Right. So what was that journey like? So how did you discover crypto? When did like the light bulb switch where you're like going from, okay, I discovered crypto, I hold crypto, I want to start working on developing and being a builder in crypto, to now we're at Banana Clip.
For sure. Yeah. I'd say it started with people talking, like my friends talking about it and like hearing some buzz or seeing something on Twitter. Like nothing crazy. And I wasn't actually interested in financial stuff at all, really.
Mm-hmm.
I've always loved engineering. I've always loved products, whether it be physical products, whether it be an application that looks beautiful, that works really well. That's where my kind of passion has been. It's never been like banking or like investing, or it wasn't before. It wasn't like financial interest or like what's the stock market going to do. I wasn't a big like trader guy. Um, so the fact that I, kind of got into cryptocurrency was weird because it's a financial system. It's a new way to track value. So I wasn't expecting that. At first, it was just okay. Like I'm gonna like make some money on Bitcoin, whatever.
Yeah.
Um, but then I saw like the actual engineering and the beauty of the design behind cryptocurrency as a financial system, and at the same time started seeing the flaws in the traditional financial system, which starts at just like unsophisticated servers and software and countless ledgers just spread across the world for everything from you know real estate to stocks to this to that. That inefficiency to the fact that the global reserve currency is just printed by a pretty small group of people. They control the supply, which really fundamentally is what controls a lot of what happens on Earth, in politics and everything like that.
Absolutely.
If you think idealistically about humanity, um, having our fungible currency as humanity, which we need, as an intelligent species, we need a fungible token. We need a money to trade with each other and stuff. Having a small group be able to just print that money whenever they want, and it goes to who really,
And not be backed by anything.
yeah, and not be back. Commodity backing is pretty awesome, like gold. But we came off the gold standard in '73, and there's a big history behind that. Like starting in '33, no American citizens were allowed to actually own gold. They had to give it back to the Federal Reserve, and then about 45 years later, out of nowhere, they said, "Oh yeah, actually, we're just coming off the gold standard completely after we took all of your gold." So it's an interesting backstory. And it all kind of comes down to the centralization of the fungible currency of humanity, which clearly can't really be in the hands of a few people. So, the idea of Bitcoin, decentralized digital currency, and it started way back before Bitcoin. Like with there's a bunch of prototypes, Bitcoin like prototypes for decentralized digital cash. But yeah, the idea that nobody controls the fungible currency of humanity is massive. And the more I looked into it, the more I realized, wow, this is just fundamentally a beautiful vision. This is obviously how it should be for an intelligent species that has so much potential, and that's being held back in a large part by money. Whether it's wars, poverty, food quality, crimes, whatever it may be, all these problems kind of in the end come back to an inefficient money system, because at the end of the day, most people are kind of good, I see it as, and there's some people that take advantage of that with money. Yeah, so I realized all that stuff, got into the story of money, of the design of cryptocurrency, and realized, okay, it's more than just, currency. It can be any sort of asset, can be digitally represented in a decentralized way. So that design kind of took me in, And then, yeah, I got into it. I started, I've been doing interface and product design for like 10-ish years now, kind of on my own for other people,
Awesome.
for family, friends, for different products in Web 2 and in Web 3, to different extents. And Banana Clip, I think my big motivation with Banana Clip, although it doesn't seem as grandiose, it's like, oh, this new monetary system, right? Um, I really want to show how cryptocurrency, despite it sounding so cryptic, no pun intended there, is really just the same as what we have already. It's the same as, the Visa network is, digital currency. 95% of the US dollar is digital currency. It's already digital currency. You guys, stocks it's digital, it's not any different. It's just not controlled by people that you don't want in control of your money. So that's really the only difference. And the point of Banana Clip, even though it seems so simple, is that it kind of, in the most approachable, simple, and really beloved way, this very widespread market, 2 billion plus people playing casual games across the earth, and understanding simple economic fundamentals. It's a way to introduce the world to this idea of cryptocurrency in maybe the most simple way, in the most understandable way possible. So that's where the Banana Clip idea started, and then here we are. So,
well, I think that's, when you're creative, it's so easy to downplay your own genius, in my opinion. And I think that with what you just described is brilliant because of the simplicity behind the idea. So you're saying you want to use Banana Clip as kind of like a Trojan horse use case for people to be able to step into this new world of, digital asset, not just currency. I hate that we just call it cryptocurrency because it's really so many forms of digital assets out there attached to the crypto world. And but basically creating a use case through games, which everyone loves games. There's 2 billion people out there that can use them. And you're like, okay, let me just create something, bring it to them, and put it as close to what they already know. And then they can discover what this is all about. And like you said, with, even just getting into Bitcoin, once you kind of like start to taste what crypto is all about, it takes you on this whole rabbit hole that you can't ignore. So I can totally see like you onboarding people through gaming, but you're able to get people to start asking questions like, all right, I'm using this thing called crypto now. I never thought I necessarily would. What is it? How else do we use it? How else do we go out to it? And then because gaming is so addictive, is a great, I'm sure you have a great monetization plan for Banana Clip on the back end. So you're doing good for the world and setting yourself up to have a very profitable company. I think that's, like I said, I think that's brilliant.
I appreciate it. And I think you said something like exactly what I was trying to distill everything to is like, I don't want people to, have crypto in their face, like I don't want it to be like, oh, here's sign in with your wallet. Like these are NFTs. Look at this, like invest in this collection, invest in this.
Mm-hmm.
I want to, if they don't want to know it's crypto, like they don't have to. And I think a lot of our users are not even going to know they're actually using cryptocurrency. That's kind of the idea to start. Because if you look at current financial systems, like, does anybody know like how Visa works, like that network? Do they know like if it's like how the account style, if it's like a ledger based account or like a UTX or like, what is the technology there? Nobody knows. They just press a button and the money goes, and that's why
Absolutely.
so it's so widely used. And really, if you think about any technology, it kind of comes down to the same sort of thing. Like the most advanced technology in the world, like Apple products, credit cards, even automobiles. They're all crazy complex. The moving parts, the manufacturing, how it actually works is immensely complicated. But the whole purpose is to distill it down into the most usable and user friendly, piece of technology for the average human to use. And they all are very, very simple. And despite the fact that your iPhone or Samsung or whatever phone you have is, 100 times more powerful than the computers they used in the moon landing or whatever that statistic is that people throw around. You can pick it up and use it and leverage that crazy piece of tech in your pocket without even knowing how it works. And I think that's how cryptocurrency should be, and the magic is it's just like the current system in terms of sending value in this, but hey, like it's free, like there's nobody controlling it. So eventually people all over the world are gonna be like, damn, like this currency isn't inflating as much as it used to, or like this is I have this works way better than what we used to use. Like this is crazy. Look at all this, so
absolutely. And I mean, if you look at the evolution of the internet, you look at the evolution of social media when like Web 2 cloud computing started becoming big. It's always in the beginning, everything's like right in your face. People are like, this is a fad, this isn't going, to stay. Super complicated. And then you have people who are like more experts come in and they build a better user interface for like the average person to be able to find ways to interact. And then once those barriers of entry start to drop, then everyone's like, you go through your adoption curve where you have like the early adopters come in and they make it look cool, and then all of a sudden everyone's like, oh, this makes sense now. And I think we're still in. I think we still underestimate how early we are in Web3. Like the more I think every time I think I understand how early we are, something happens and it just shows me that like I am massively underestimating how early we are in this. And so it's gonna be fun seeing. I think it's gonna take another 10 years for like I remember when social media came out and I was late. I was trying to explain to people 2015, 2016 that like social media was going to change the way people do business and humans communicate and all of these things. And people were looking at me like I was crazy. And now it's in every aspect of our lives. Like you can't get away from social media even if you want to. Every business is now a media company. Hence why we're targeting this niche. And there's no way. And then everybody has a camera in their pocket and the ability to spread a message to anyone in the world if they have the reach just from their phone. And these things are going to continue. Like the rate of innovation of our planet is just continuing to accelerate, and which is great for you as a web developer and like a coder. And you said you're also an engineer by trade.
Yeah, mechanical engineer.
Okay.
So yeah, in terms of web development, we have a big team working on Banana Clip. It's not just me or Adam over here. So yeah, but
okay. So all right. So this is a nice little segue. Say you're talking to new like builders, people who are like coming from the Web 1, Web 2 world, or maybe not even have development experience at all. And they want to start hopping into, building in Web 3 or, integrating Web 3 into Web 2 platforms, like similar to like Banana Clip. How difficult is it to make that jump? And what advice would you give to someone starting that journey from scratch?
yeah, I'd say I think in cryptocurrency, especially, and the fact that we're so early in it, there's so much room for vision and, you know, just building a vision from scratch and seeing efficiencies that, can be improved and like ways things can be used. I think it's so abundant, those opportunities right now in crypto. And kind of a double-edged sword is, you know because it's the wild west, it's also, you see like products that aren't great, or scams happening and stuff like that, at the same time. And there's oftentimes a lot of negativity that comes along with it, and that scares people. Even big companies, mismanaging funds, and you know people losing money for that reason. um, but I think those kind of dark sides of the industry, um, illuminate and are proof that there's so much room for innovation if you actually want to do something positive and like you have a good vision. Um, I think you'll be able to find people that can make up for your weaknesses, whatever those weaknesses are, or whatever you just don't like doing. So you're not a good marketer. There's hundreds of people who are dying for a good product with a good vision, to come along and to help, for free and not even like get paid. It's very abundant, the amount of talent in any direction you want to go, that's out there, and the amount of opportunities to create visions and inspire people. So, if somebody wants to build in Web3, I definitely don't know all the answers, but what I did was with a few of my friends. We just tried to create the coolest vision we could, and we just started telling people about it. And and we were just honest with the fact that we wanted to build something really beautiful that works well. And we thought deeply about the vision, and then when people saw it, they kind of, the talent from everywhere, all walks of life, um, joined in on the vision. So I think more than building in Web two, and I've worked with Web two startups in the past. It's so much more, even though it can be daunting. It's like it's absolutely amazing, the amount of just people and opportunities that are there if you really want to be positive and look past the potential scary parts of it. So
Okay, and Crush, kind of going into your, your life experience prior to starting Banana Clip. What are some of your favorite, I guess, Web3 projects or just overall startup projects that you've had an opportunity to work with and learn from along your journey?
definitely, I worked for this startup, Asker. That was a software company. It was kind of like a Quora sort of deal. Uh, this other startup that I'm actually consulting for now, called Einstein, is an AI company that aggregates different AI tools. And before that, I built apps for some of my family's friends. And uh, really, the part that always like struck me with working with startups and stuff is people who are really into a cool product, and yeah, and like having the vision be all about the product. So that's where I usually worked. In Web three, I helped with a DEX. Um, I helped with a lending platform. Um, actually, two lending platforms. And yeah, I did like user interface, user experience for that. Um, I think I've done like um, I think I've done like 30 plus websites for tech companies, and like some UI work for them over the years. Um, and so yeah, it's mostly been in design and like user experience, user interface, and that's kind of what I've always loved. So um, yeah.
That's cool. Were you like a kid who was always trying to like put together things or take things apart, or was like this always kind of like a part of who you were?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I was kind of I was kind of crazy as a kid with just taking stuff apart. I think my parents a few times like, why did you take that apart? Like maybe it was like a bike, or I think I took apart like a weed whacker one time. Like I wanted to see like the piston and how like
Mhm.
it actually like the chambers in the two stroke engine worked and like yeah. So for sure. And like I think my friend and I, we like made a forge out of like coal and like an air compressor, and we would like forge swords when I was like 13 years old. So yeah, I was always had a fun time building stuff. So
That's cool. That's cool. It sounds like you were a handful
yeah,
growing up.
yeah, I might need to give some apologies to some adults in my life, but yeah.
No, I can well, not with the building, because that wasn't necessarily my gift, but I can definitely, relate to the curiosity aspect, and that leading to me needing some apologies as well. Um,
Right. Yeah. Well, nobody got hurt, so we had zero
exactly. We're just figuring
fatalities.
things out.
We're good. Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. And wow, see, I told you I always try to hold these to an hour, and the time just flies. So I have a couple more questions I want to just tap into real quick, and then we'll let you go, and then obviously we have to have you back again in the future. Maybe like after Banana Clip drops, and we can review how you feel about how everything's going with that. But for right now, one of my two last questions that I have is, you know, looking out 5 years into the future of just the gaming world, seeing not just casual gaming, but just all gaming, and seeing how all these new technologies are popping up and changing the market from crypto to AI to everything. Where do you see us going in the future in gaming right now, and virtual reality, of course? Where do you see gaming going? Um, yeah, where do you see gaming going over the next 5 to 10 years?
I think long term, maybe 10 years. I don't know about that. Maybe longer than that. Um,
Mhm.
I can see a future. I don't know if it's dystopian or utopian, but a future
Mhm.
where gaming is like better than real life. Honestly, for
Mhm.
for virtual reality, and I don't know how far it's gonna get with like sitting in like a matrix style thing and just being in your metaverse all day and doing whatever you want. But um,
Kind
I
of like a
think
mix of like the Matrix and Ready Player One type
exactly
vibe.
exactly, but it's a matrix where you want to be there because it's like you don't want to come out because it's like it's super cool. But I think that's where the technology is heading. Um,
Mhm.
whether that I think that could be seen as a good thing or a bad thing. But in that in that note, I think it's going to be pretty cool. Like what's going to be possible, especially with AI creating assets and stuff like versus right now taking a long time to create assets and environments in the metaverse. Like in 5 or 10 years, being able to create just beautiful environments, I think is going to be massive for anyone who wants to game. So uh, in sort of the shorter term and maybe like on the economic side, I think cryptocurrency as a distributed permissionless global ledger that's obviously all about security reliability. That's the whole point. I think that's going to be really cool for economically connecting gamers, kind of like what Banana Clip's about, but on a global scale with all different types of games and people and ways to interact. So
Absolutely. And you just made me think of something with with like the virtual reality matrices popping up. You could have like these virtual reality worlds with like maybe even in the future people's core group of friends won't even be human. Like you can have these virtual reality worlds where you're so immersed in the game, and then within these games there are these AI characters,
Right.
that exist, and you start going and plugging in to, like how we were talking about earlier, how people go and they connect to gaming for the community aspect, to hang with their friends that they may grow up with, or hang with, or do business networking, kind of replacing golf. People could go into these virtual reality games, and you'll have AIs who have full bodies and, you know, appear just to be as real as a first person user. And those are your friends. And you hang out with them in this virtual world where they have autonomy as well. I don't, that's so, I can't, it just came to me, but I'm trying to like wrap my mind around it. And it's just such a
I,
crazy thought.
that is a crazy thought, and that makes me think that might be a really cool way to just interact with AI.
Mhm.
If it's not even the case of like a friend, but just like you're in VR and you want to build an app, you want to build products. That'd be a cool way versus just typing into a computer. Like it's a
Yeah.
human that
Or
does
have a teacher or something to learn like different skills or something.
for sure. The possibilities are endless. I'm sure it will get wild. But
Cool, cool. And so last question for you, Crush, when all of this is said and done, you live your life, you keep building great, amazing things for people to use, what do you want your legacy to be that you leave on the world?
that's a good question. That's a big question. Um,
And with philosophy.
yeah, no, that's good. I think as much as I love technology and creating cool products that people can use that make life better in different ways. I definitely would like to be remembered for that. That would be awesome. But I also think life itself, biology, the environment, the planet, is just as important, and technology wouldn't mean anything without that. So I'd like at some point to take part in preserving and making life better itself, biology, beyond just technology. So that would be my ultimate, you know, gift to the world and way to be remembered.
Okay, awesome. So build things that, help improve people's lives and help, enhance the biological sustainability of our planet.
Hmm.
Those You have a lot of work to do, my friend.
I know, I know. Well, hey, so, that was a big question, so
Yeah.
that's, but
You definitely That's awesome though. You're definitely have your time filled being busy accomplishing those things, because I mean we need it. We need people like you who have that vision, have the skill sets that you have, and have the heart that you have to actually care about other people and making the world better. So I commend you on that so much. And I appreciate you for that, because I'm a probably benefit from the seeds of the trees that you plant in the future. So to wrap up, how can people connect with Banana Clip? How can people connect with you individually? What are your socials? What are the best ways to reach out and learn more?
for sure. Banana Clip Games is our Twitter. That has our link tree, everything there. We have a Discord, and that's right in the link tree too on our Twitter. And my Twitter handle is at name is crush. Um, and yeah, that's where we do everything. So you'll see our roadmap, white paper. You can see a demo for the product, and we do dev updates every week. We have some great mods, and yeah, it's pretty chill right now. We're kind of in stealth mode as we're developing, but as September rolls along, we're going to be ramping up and getting people onboarded for our mainnet launch. So yeah,
Okay, awesome, awesome. Yeah, so thank you, Crush, for coming out. I think I follow everything that you said with Banana Clip. I'm gonna follow you individually as well. And I just look forward to seeing the progress that you guys make. If there's anything that I or we as Clock Finder can do to help you, please reach out. Let us know. This is just the start of our relationship, and yeah, I appreciate you coming out today.
thanks, Julian. Appreciate the platform. Thanks for the good questions and the good vibes. So.
No problem. And for anyone listening, please also follow us, Clout Finder across all platforms. We're here to have great conversations, highlight great people who are doing innovative, creative things. And there's a lot coming on our end as well. So have a great day, everyone. And thank you for watching.